Hi there folks, welcome back to RRTV for our continuing coverage of the Sebring 12 hour. We're just about to hit the halfway mark. Well, the drivers are anyway, and boy do we have a lot to get you up to date on. But before we do, let's welcome Mr. Adrian Jarvis. Hi Adrian, you ready for another 2 hours?
Hey Bernie, hey viewers, yeah, I'm ready for another 2 hours. It's going to be quite interesting to go through this long list that we've got to go through, so I think we'll probably lose half an hour just in that.
Yeah, we probably will. We've got a lot to catch the viewers up on, but as you can see folks, the car just on screen now, the 118 Redback Racing car, that was up into second position, but it just had an incident with the 332, which was one of the tryhards racing roughs, and unfortunately it had to come in and use a fast repair. So that car has used a fast repair and finds itself down in third, and the last car on the lead lap. So let's take you through all the different classes, the top 5 of each class, so you can see where the cars lie at this stage. So at the moment, HP in Class A, Carnet TDR has just taken the lead with Timothy Schweck behind the wheel there, and I'd say the reason they're taking the lead is the 188 with Josh Rogers has just come to take their pit stop. So this car was running in third position, and now they're in the lead. Second in Class A is Team TTL with Josh Rogers behind the wheel of that car. For the statisticians out there, this car has led for 152 of the 181 laps they've completed so far. In third position is the Redback Racing HPD, the 118 with Brett Wilson behind the wheel of that car. Then in fourth position is the 126 Evolution Racing Australia. Ian Ford is still behind the wheel of that car, and it looks like he has probably done a double stint because he was behind the wheel of it when we left earlier today. Then rounding out your top 5 is the Dayco Motorsports number 100. Reece Gardner's currently driving that car, and they're about to do a pit stop, and we'll see if they change drivers.
Yeah, a little up, Bernie, I'll give the viewers on this car. I believe one of their drivers had a dropout earlier on, so that's why this car's dropped down in 5th position at the moment. They were up battling in that second position, so doing quite a good job up there until one of their drivers had a technical fault, and Reece had to jump in here and drive the car. So I believe that Reece is still in the car, so maybe their driver's still got the technical issues at home, which quite a few of us seem to be having.
Yeah, it's going to make for a very long day for Mr. Reece Gardner, isn't it? So, but I guess, you know, the boys in the Dayco teams, they're used to doing very long stints, and I think they prefer it.
Yeah, they tend to have this sort of situation, and no team is going to usually be acceptable from this sort of situation where you're going to have a dropout one stage or another. It's just a shame that you're up the front of the race, but coming halfway through the race, we've got 6 hours. It's a bit of a haul to try and pull this back, being a lap down and trying to get back through. But yeah, the guys do a good job in there, and hopefully their driver can jump in, because I think they've only got they've got to actually have 3 drivers today race here. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, I think they have to have 3 drivers, and they all have to do their fair share, whatever that is. I'm not very clear on what a fair share of driving is, whether they've all got to do at least a third, but it wouldn't be that, probably a quarter of the race, I guess.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's a quarter of a quarter or something, I think it works out to be, but you know, without having the right numbers there, and I know the viewers might pick on us for that, but look, at the moment I'm seeing guys at Summit there are going 46. So it just depends on how many laps that the team does. So and just yeah, see how they go with.
Yeah, well, it's a timed race of 12 hours, and the guys have been setting a fairly scorching pace this morning up until we went off air, and we'll get to the safety cars in a moment. But let's update our viewers on Class B. That's currently being led by the 226 Evolution Racing Australia. Marcelo Rivera is currently driving that car, and then right behind them in second is the Synergy Sim Racing Boost Juice entry. Michael Schreier is driving that car again, so he's been putting in quite a few laps here. And then third in Class B is Evolution Racing Australia. Simon Feigl is currently driving the 228, and then right behind them in fourth position is the 223. Zach Hanlon is behind the wheel of that car again. And then rounding out your top five is the 266 Blackadder Motorsport with Brandon Gurashia, I can't pronounce that surname, Guaracia, I don't know, driving that car. So Class B is definitely being dominated by Evolution Racing Australia at this stage.
Yeah, certainly is, isn't it? 3 cars in there, and they're definitely showing the pace today, and there's 6 hours to go. Definitely going to be on for a podium.
Yeah, they'll definitely be on for a podium, and we'll see how they go with. But the Boost Juice guys, they're keeping them honest. They're not that far behind them, and probably about 4 car lengths down the road. So let's have a look at Class C. Class C is still being led by the Mad Car Racing Frida, and we've got Scott Gray driving that car at the moment. And I think we were speaking to Scott earlier in the day. So that car's running 27th outright, but leading its class. And then the 397 with Justin Ruggier behind the wheel of that car again, there in the second spot. So this is one of the cars that if anyone's going to take it to the Mad Cowboys, it's probably going to be this car. Well, sorry, they are third in class. The 367 Blackadder Motorsports actually in second, and John Barry's driving that car at the moment. So there's a couple of cars there that could possibly challenge for the lead, but it's going to take something pretty amazing considering they're 2 laps down from that car, the 333. Fourth spot in Class C, Oceanic Sim Racing with Matt Nethercote driving that car, and they are also 2 laps down from the Class C leader at this stage. And then rounding out your top 5 is Pagnian IRFF Racing with Adam Funslow driving that car, and they are 31st outright, and they're still carrying the same damage they were carrying when we left earlier today.
Yeah, they probably get a little bit every time they go in the pits, I'm sure, Bernie. They're not really ready to use that fast repair, and I think the guys are definitely on that more so now, aren't they? They're hanging on to those fast repairs for that last couple of hours to go and get a fast car at the end of the race.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, isn't it? They're coming in, doing a bit of fixing on it, taking off again, and it's all pretty much cosmetic damage. The cars that really need help, I guess they try to get them into the pits as soon as they can. But I guess looking at our safety cars, since we left today, Adrian, we've had 2 safety cars, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah, 2 safety cars, so we've missed the action so far today, which is unfortunate for the viewers. We didn't get to see those accidents, and something that we can't really call on too much, but I believe the Shelby car ended up into the tyre barrier and stuck on top of the tyre barrier, so that was unfortunate for those guys. And then we had one of the ERA cars also stopping, which was the Corvette. So, but still out there racing around quite well, which is the 223 car. They actually stopped on course, which brought out the yellow safety car, and then I believe the car 229 ran out of fuel while on the safety car, so they had to get a tow, which is unfortunate for those guys.
Yeah, it's a really tricky thing. People are probably wondering how the heck can you run out of fuel under safety car. It all comes down to when that pit window opens, and if you're caught out with very low fuel and you're not allowed in the pits because they're closed, well, then you've got to sit by and wait for the safety car to pick you up, and that's most possibly what's happened to that 229 entry.
Yeah, they get a 1 lap penalty, so they get held for 1 lap if they come into a closed pit. But you know, you're going to get a penalty anyway. You probably go a lap down because you're getting a tow. So I'd sooner take the penalty and just try and work your way back through. But that's something that I'd say, just take the fuel. We need the fuel. Don't stop out on track. Just get the fuel in, and then we'll cop the penalty later on. So you know, you always can do it that way.
Yeah, well that's right, you're toast either way, aren't you? If you come in, you're going to take a lap penalty. If you don't, well, by the time the tow truck picks you up and gets you back to the pits, you're going to lose a penalty as well. And I'm pleased to say we've got the Tryhards correct paint scheme in now, and they're carrying that pink and black livery, which was mentioned earlier today.
Yeah, I've done a few of the uploads. I believe I didn't get all of them. There's a few out there that I can't see, so some of them probably put them on Trading Paint, so that's fine. I'm just here watching it, and usually if the number comes out I can catch up onto it. And it looks like we've already got a few guys down in the green room already wanting to have a chat, so they're excited to be up here as well.
Yeah, we'll bring them up very shortly. As far as penalties go, do we dare start reading out all the penalties that have been dished out since we went off air? I think the guys went a bit crazy out there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of penalties out there. I think it was crazy that how many actually went on. I mean, you know, I think they realised that we were off broadcast, and they're going, well, we can go for it now and have a bit of fun. But geez, yeah, it was crazy stuff while we were.
Yeah, so a couple of post-race penalties have been issued, and I'll let the viewers know about those first. So a post-race penalty has been issued to the 111 entry. That's a G&T Racing team. No, sorry. Post-race penalty has been issued to ANZ Motorsports, the 397, currently third in their class. They were put on the post-race review for taking unjustifiable risks in passing the 366. So they'll have to go and see the stewards after the race. The 205 has also got a post-race penalty for a communications breach. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah, so they'll have to go and see the stewards at the end of the race. A warning has also been issued to the 368 for unsafe re-entry after avoiding the 397. So they've been given a warning for how they've re-entered the track. So that's the easy part. The cars that have received a drive-through, well, I'm just going to read out the numbers, I think. The 169, ABR Simulator 2, 367, Blackadder Motorsport, the 132, Tryhards HPD, we've done the 111, the 397, ANZ Motorsports, 331, Tryhards Racing GT3, 126, Evolution Racing Australia, the 166, Team VPR, the 132, Tryhards HPD, and the list goes on. That's only about a third of them. The latest ones that have been issued, 116, Nutters Motorsport Green, got a drive-through for reckless driving. The 229, LMTI for careless driving, which is the same as the one above. The 130 Synergy Sim Racing entry, another one for careless driving. The 119 Redback Racing Team, that's the second car, also drive through for careless driving. The 223 Evolution Racing Australia got one for careless driving drive-through, and now they've just been pinged again for a communication breach, and they've received another drive-through. So that's going to definitely change the complexion of Class B. Still with me there, Adrian, or have you dozed off, mate?
Yeah, I nearly fell asleep. That was a long list. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame there for those boys. But obviously, you know, they've got rules in place, and if they're not reading the rules and understanding the rules, they're going to get penalised for it. And you know, that's when the managers have actually got to step up and probably tell them if they're there and say, "Hey guys, you got to settle down a bit."
Yeah, it's quite interesting if you look at Class B at the moment. We've got a trio of Evolution Racing Australia Corvettes, and one of them's just stepped aside because they're a lap down, and then we've got the Boost Juice entry that's trying to work their way through these guys.
Yeah, it gets a bit difficult. You know, you've got a HPD in there, which is quite quick, obviously, and then you've got you know, these cars also racing as well. So, and they're just trying to make sure they clean them, pass them clean.
Yeah, that's right, and you can see he's just got past the other one, and now he's coming up to Zach Hanlon in the 223, who they're going to have to serve that drive-through. And we've seen it before, haven't we? When they get served these, they generally leave it till the last lap, till they bring those cars in.
Yeah, they certainly do, but also for the team in that HPD, you're saying, well, this guy's got a black flag. If you can get past him now, go ahead and do it, but be wary that coming into the pits, he's got to dive in there. So I think he should be able to clear him before the pits. Obviously, we've got that back straight away and should get it done, but you always give that information so that the driver knows what's going on in front of them.
Yeah, well, that's right. They'll be giving them that information, expecting them. Now the HPD is flashing his lights, letting him know that he's about to come through. And no doubt is he going to have a go? Yes, he is. He's pulling in to take the inside now into the final corner, and he's made that pass clean. So that's good news. Now the 223 comes in to serve that drive-through penalty, and I guess this is the equivalent of taking the walk of shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, it's never good that you've got to go through the pit lane. Obviously, you've done something wrong on track, and people see it, and yeah, it's such a shame for those guys. You know, they're pushing hard, the young guys there, so they'll keep learning. It's a tough gig doing this AEC endurance.
Yeah, well, they've actually they're taking service, so I'm not sure what that is. I don't think that's the equivalent of a drive-through penalty when you come in and swap drivers and service a car. But I'll leave that up for race control to worry about that one.
I believe that's actually not a pit lane penalty situation. They're actually getting service, so they're going to have to go back around and serve that penalty. That black flag will still be issued for that.
Yeah, that's correct, and hopefully that team knows they've got a black flag. But let's bring up DJ. He's from the 363, and we'll have a chat with him. Hi DJ, welcome to RRTV, and we've got your car on screen at the moment. It looks like Eric Thorpe's behind the wheel, and it looks like you've had a bit of strife on the front end of that car.
Yeah, how we going, guys? I'm not going to lie to you, it's been a pretty rough innings for us today, but we're still plugging away. We've still got our fast repairs in hand, so we're holding on to them as long as we possibly can. At the moment, the car's still pretty straight, just losing a little bit of speed, but you know, we're just going to keep on trucking, hopefully, and just push through a bit harder.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do if the car's steering straight. There's a few cars out there that have sacrificed a bit of top end speed. to save those fast repairs, which we've just gone across the halfway mark. So those fast repairs may still be needed down the track. You never know.
Exactly right. You know, we had a pretty good run at the start of the race, just with clean racing and not having to worry about sort of safety cars, that sort of thing. And as time goes on and that attrition starts to sort of factor in, that's where we're hoping holding onto those safety, those fast repairs are really, really going to help us out.
Yeah, it's sort of like keeping a string of your bow or whatever they call it, and it looks like Eric's bringing that car in now. Is that for a normal service, a scheduled pit stop?
Yeah, I do believe so, yep. We're running pretty low on fuel. I do believe as well we're probably going to plug Joel back in the car now and let him have a run and make a bit of time there. So normal sort of normal pit stop for this one.
Yeah, so how exactly did the front end of that car get damaged so bad? Looks like you've rear-ended someone.
It was actually from two little incidents. We had one early on. We got into a bit of a tangle coming down into the hairpin. It was really early, like lap 12 or thereabouts. We sort of copped a bit of bump and grind and sort of ran a little bit wide, and just sort of got beaten from pillar to post on that. And then I had a bit of a run-in with someone as well. I just didn't brake quick enough and accidentally sort of took the tail end of them and crushed the other side in. Just to, I thought the car was a little bit off balance, so I just evened it up a little.
Yeah, it helps to correct the toe in a little bit, I understand.
Exactly right. Well, that's my excuse and I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah. A year or two ago I was driving an iRacing and I did have a crooked steering wheel, and I happened to knock the other wheel like that, and it did steer a little bit better. Well, I thought it did at the time anyway.
Well, compared to what it was, it probably was a world of difference.
Yeah, so what's the plans for this car as far as drivers go? Are we expecting to see you back in there later on?
We're going to play it by ear at this point. I'm not going to lie, I had a rough trot in there. I sort of, went on tilt a little bit and sort of came to pieces. So I don't know if I'm confident enough myself to get back in there, but we'll see how we go with Joel and Eric. Eric's done some pretty hard yards for us already today. He's had a couple of double stints, so Joel's pretty fresh. I do believe he just woke up from a nap, so hopefully that should keep him nice and fresh for a little while at least.
Yeah, let's hope so. And what's the rule about, this minimum driver rule? We've been discussing it up here in the comm box, trying to work out what exactly minimum length of distance is for these cars. Do you know what that rule is, and if so, can you let the viewers know?
Mate, I wish I could give you more insight. I just go off what Eric says. He's our numbers guy, so I got in, I did 32 laps. I said to him, am I good for fair share? And he goes, yep, should be. So I sort of left it at that. But yeah, I think it's some weird percentage of total laps, because it gives you a projection of to what it might be. It's all just wishy-washy, and I just believe whatever Eric says to me.
Okay, that sounds good. That's pretty much what I do up here. I just believe whatever Adrian says to me. But speaking of Adrian, I might just pass you over and see if he's got any further questions for you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, DJ, it looks like you guys are doing well, and Eric's been a champion at these laps at the moment. 109, so he's definitely put the hard yards in.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the one of us that actually has some real race experience, so we sort of lean on him a little bit when we can and get him to put us in some pretty decent spots. So yeah, he's absolutely been pushing the car today, and the damage isn't even his fault, most of it's mine. So I think I pushed a bit further than my ability could carry me. But yeah, no, it's great. Joel's solid wheelman as well. He'll keep us steady for probably, I'd imagine we might keep him in there for a double stint, see how he's travelling. But yeah, we reckon we can make it through to the end of the race pretty well.
Yeah, and I believe the first race that you had, you guys were fairly new to the AEC, and yeah, the car was really worse off than what it is now. But how are you finding it now? How are you getting to grips with these endurance races with the AE?
Yeah, first race is probably best left unspoken. We just completely underestimated the workload. we threw ourselves headlong into Bathurst, and yeah, you know, we had a pretty good run. We were really proud and really happy with our efforts there. We had a bit of a longer sort of wind up into Sebring, and I think it helped and hindered us all at the same time, because straight after Bathurst, you know, we were keen as mustard. We wanted to get in there and start putting laps down and getting the setup dialed in and all that sort of stuff. And sort of in about the middle, you know, we may have dropped off a little bit, but it sort of came back in through towards the sort of the week and a half leading in to really get the setup dialed in. Where all three of us are happy with it, because our skill level between the three of us does vary, and we've got to be able to sort of drive the car no matter who gets into it. So, you know, it's we're loving it. It's so much fun, and you know, that's really what we're here for. At the end of the day, we know we're not racing for sheep stations. We're here to spend 12 hours in a seat and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's great to hear. You know, it's always good to hear you guys come up and just enjoy what you're doing out there. It's definitely comes off when we're watching it. Yeah, you got definitely guys out there that are racing for the win, and you can see that, especially the way they drive. But not saying that it's in a bad way, but they definitely push the limits. Whereas you guys are out here putting laps down and enjoying it, and for what it is, it's really great.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, sure, one day we'd love to be in a position where we're racing for podiums. Realistically, if we get there this season, I'd eat my hat. But you know, we're having a blast, and you know, we can sort of restructure a bit, and we've even had a couple of friends and that we've been talking to about it that want to start iRacing and all that sort of stuff too. So you know, we're going to try and rope them in, and you never know, you might see a bit of a different driver lineup as time goes on. But we're obviously here to have fun.
Yeah, great, mate, and keep doing it, because that's how you keep racing, and you actually slowly improve. And especially with you got good drivers in there, they'll help you improve, that's for sure. But before we let you go, mate, you want to put a shout out there to any sponsors if you got them, or just your team?
I haven't got any sponsors, but you know, I'll just you know, throw a shout out to the boys that are in the cars at the moment. You know, Joel and Eric, they had crackers, you know, and all the other drivers out there today. It's actually been really good. There's a lot of respect shown from everyone, especially after I think Bathurst, sort of everyone was a bit riled up, but it's been a lot better today. So everyone that's out there at the moment is driving hard, they're driving safe. It's been really good.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for popping in, DJ. Best of luck for the rest of the race. You're on the downhill slope now with 5 hours 42 minutes to go.
Exactly right. We got the light at the end of the tunnel, and you know, thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Bernie. You guys absolutely killing it up here. So thanks a lot, and have a good rest of the race.
Yeah, no worries, mate. See you later. Yeah, one thing I do like about the Swift Racing team, and I'd like to see this implemented, is they've actually got a P-plate, a green P-plate in the back of the car, and I was thinking that would be great to implement in these big series for teams that are just starting in the series and don't have, well, you know, they might just entering the series. I know when I was in the go-karts many years ago, we had to carry a P-plate for a number of race meets.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. You know, you could probably have even an L plate on there for really new guys, you know, as well. We do know that some guys out there have never driven a GT3 car and jump in here and get bamboozled and run over most of the time. So it may be even a couple of L plates or a P plate or something on there. I know iRacing on the officials, you race in your own class, but I know in the oval section they actually give you the stripe as well, don't they?
Yeah, I think they do, and it's just something, you know, that could bring another level of realism to the sport, and it also works just to let the guys know when they're lapping these guys that they're not possibly as experienced as the front running guys, and they should treat them with I wouldn't say wide berths, but just treat it with a bit of caution when they're overtaking those cars.
Yeah, a bit of due care. You know, the guys are fairly new and they're learning, and you know, they may be a little bit unpredictable, and that, you know, you're going to have to give them a little bit of due care. So in a corner that you know that you can overtake another racer that you've raced against before, this guy, you may not be able to do it in that corner. So yeah, it's just a little bit of handy or a little bit easier way to see who's doing what.
Yeah, and while we were doing that interview, we've had a few more drive-through penalties issued. We've had one, Tryhards Racing HPD2, the 132. They were issued a drive-through penalty for causing contact on the 333. The 366 is an interesting one though. They were given the escape permission, meaning that car must have stopped somewhere, and but they were also issued a drive-through penalty for breaching sporting regs. So I'd say they've stopped and they've possibly escaped out of that car without getting the appropriate permissions that they need.
Yeah, I did hear something on the radio about that, but it seemed like they may have probably jumped the fence or something like that, where, I don't know if you know this, Bernie, and probably don't want to admit it, but sometimes you go in areas here which is like an out of bounds in golf, and it just automatically sends you back to the pit.
Okay, no, I wouldn't know any of that sort of thing. That sounds like shenanigans to me. Oh yeah, I know the ones. They're the ones that you go off and you, like, I watch you just disappear into a big oblivion. Is that right? Is that what you're talking about?
They're the ones, yeah. You just you find the limits of the track, or you might get someone named Bernie Weemers come up and smack you from the rear end and flip you over the fence and get knocked out.
Oh right. Oh, those sort of incidents. I see. I understand what you're on about now. Also, there's been a protest issued to the 200 Synergy Sim Racing for an unsafe re-entry, and that happened on lap 180. So that's also being reviewed by our race control guys at the moment, and we know we'll give a shout out to them because we know they're working flat out, and at the moment they're over 53 different incidences since this race has started, so they're definitely earning their money at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are. We've got 397 around there, Bernie. That's going to look a little bit untidy there. It just come up on my screen as I'm just watching through, because we've got a few interviews and I'm just waiting for them to come up. But yeah, 397's gone around and hit pretty hard.
Okay, that's the ANZ Motorsports entry. They're running third in class, aren't they? And it looks like he's going to continue going though.
Yeah, that thing hit hard. I'm sure it's got a bit of damage.
You sure it was the 397? Because it's got a bit of damage on the front left fender, but it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. Looks like an open wheeler down the left-hand side of that car. So should we? Sorry, mate, go.
Yeah, he's just up on the ripple strip, and it just turned it around like that weird Porsche thing does when it sort of gets unsettled a little bit, and just turned it around and hit the inside barrier. I thought it was a little bit harder than that, but obviously the car seems okay, but it's definitely got a bit of damage.
Yeah, we'll jump back and have a quick look at this replay and just see what's happened there. There's nothing that's come up on my screen here, but anyway, let's bring up Brand Tucker, and I might let you take this interview.
Hey Brent, welcome to RRTV commentary booth. How's the race going for you guys at the moment?
Hey guys, thanks for having us up here. It's going a lot better than Daytona and Bathurst, that's for sure. We've got 217 sitting in P5 in class at the moment and 21st overall, and 218 right behind in P6 and 22nd overall. So, yeah, I'm a pretty happy manager at the moment to have one car on the top 5 and one on the just outside the top 5. Both have had their minor little incidents throughout the day, but still, both of them are straight. We've still got fast repairs to use, and yeah, we're well and truly on chance for a podium if things start to go our way. But yeah, if we can get a top 5, I'll be happy.
Yeah, so how's the track developing over the 6 hours since we've started? Obviously, the track will change, but how's it going for you?
We're still able to pull the pretty fast times that we were doing, early on in practice and early on in the race. In certain parts of the track and the heavy braking zones, there are very definitive lines. It's really starting to form. You can really starting to see them rubber in. Other parts where it's a bit more spread out, it's a little bit harder to see. But yeah, coming through the S's especially, you can see where a lot of the cars take their preferred line.
And it just as we're there, Jason's just taken that position, so he's moved up, and Troy's let him through. So Troy reckons that Jason's a little bit quicker and let him through.
Yeah, Troy was a late ring-in since Luke Lefty Emerton is currently at the racetrack on real-life duties. So he wasn't able to drive today, so I managed to get Troy, who's driven the car before, to pretty much just act as a third driver, get his 2 or 3 stints done, and then we'll just throw Cody and Scott, who are the regulars in this car, throw them in for the rest of the race. Yeah, that's the plan for that. It was good for him to step aside because Jason's just been on point with this car all weekend, so yeah, that's good.
So you're a little bit jealous then with Luke actually driving for real and not helping out the scenes?
Oh, he's not driving. He's doing the hard part of the engineering. So I'm not really jealous at all. He can do all the hard work while I sit here in a chair. I'm more than happy for that.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I would be too. Sitting, if you got aircon, sitting in the aircon, which I don't anymore, which is a bummer. But sit here and watch the guys go around this track at the moment, doing a fantastic job. Only 2 safety cars. Bit of a surprise for us up here in the booth. And how about the teams? Is it a big surprise for you guys?
After Bathurst, this is a very welcome surprise. We managed to go nearly 4 hours without a safety car at all, and since then we've had maybe another 1 or 2. Unfortunately, one of them didn't go our way, so that allowed Synergy to get a lap on our 217 car, which is the main car we have fighting for positions at the moment. But that's just the way the safety car goes, unfortunately. But both cars, I think, are 2 laps down on the top 3 cars, so we're there or thereabouts, and if we can just keep a clean race, which is all we're after a very hard first 2 rounds, the morale on the team will be certainly boosted after this, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I believe Race Control is trying a new system with safety cars and trying to get this bug fixed manually through Race Control. So do you know how that they're doing that? And if you do, could you explain that to the viewers out there so they understand how safety car situations work these days, because it has changed from previous?
Yeah, they are waving a lot more cars around. Not sure if it's to try and get them in a relative class-by-class basis, or if they're just trying to get everyone out of the way of the leaders. I'm not exactly sure. I don't understand it myself 100%, unfortunately. But I know that they are waving a lot more cars around. I think they wave maybe a third of the field around one safety car. My only issue with that being is that they have to extend the safety car periods, and in which case we saw before, unfortunately for the LMTI guys, they had to get a tow back to pit lane because they ran out of fuel. So fuel becomes a lot more important now with these wave arounds and extended safety car periods. So yeah, I've pretty much set in place for the guys on the team, when it comes up to 5 laps pit, if the safety car does get called, we've got 5 laps worth of fuel left under the round on.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good idea, making sure you got a bit of fuel there just in case the safety car comes out before your pit stop, which is really good. I mean, at the end of the day, we may get a confirmation on what they were doing. So this evening, hopefully we might get admin up here and we'll have a chat to them about the safety car. But no, it's good to see. I haven't seen any black flags with guys that have pitted, so it seems like whatever they're doing now in race control, it's actually working with these safety cars.
Yeah, there was. I think there's only been one instance where it was with Zachary Hanlon's car, who's driving with Riley Blythe, I believe. They just had an iRacing penalty come up, which was just an end-of-the-line penalty, so race control unfortunately can't do anything about that, so...
Yeah, that's if it's a iRacing penalty and iRacing has given it to them, and I understand why you're holding your breath there. Yeah, that's nothing that race control can do about.
Yeah, there was a fair bit of discussion going on during the race about it between race control and that car, and ultimately race control just said we can't do anything about it. It's an iRacing penalty, but I just had to serve it. I'm unfortunate for those guys, but unfortunately that's the way the ball rolls on iRacing, unfortunately, sometimes.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, in real world, if you're going to get a black flag, and obviously, you know, iRacing works on absolutes sometimes, unfortunately, because it is a program, and that's what it is, and you just got to suck it and get on with it and move on, you know, and then you discuss it after the race and see if it was something that they did or something that iRacing needs to fix or not, which is something that we don't know 100% of.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so they just had to serve that penalty, and that's been the only incident of that kind of nature I've seen. Everything else with these waiver rounds and with race control manually coming over, regardless of what iRacing says on your computer, they're coming over manually and saying pit lane is now shut, and then they come back over the radio saying pit lane is now open. So that's another way they're getting around it as well, which seems to be working a lot better. It's avoiding a lot of those black flags mostly, so it's good. Certainly improvements made on previous rounds, and just the overall racing in general has been better. So yeah, well done to everyone out on track, I must admit, for nearly 4 hours without a safety car. So
yeah, no, it's been good, and I noticed there you're pausing every time. Jason's getting close to a car, but yeah, no, it's good. Plans, the car's been handling pretty good all the way through, so the plans for you guys for the rest of the race with 5.5 hours?
Plans for us is, I think I'll be due next back in the car, so I did a triple stint earlier on in the day, and I may well I'll either double or triple again when I jump back in, and then we'll probably put Lucas back in the car and then throw Jason in for the end. He's been our on-point man for 218, sorry, so he had the duty of starting the car, and he'll probably have the duty of finishing the car, so that's the plan for 218 at least. For 217, I'm not entirely sure what those boys are doing.
Yeah, fair enough. Before we let you go though, Brent, you want to put a shout out there to your sponsors? I know you got some great sponsors on there. They've been with you from the inception of your team, and may as well give them a good shout out while you're here. And I know Bernie's got them plastered all over the viewing at the moment while we've been talking, so they're definitely getting a little bit of coverage there, so give them a big shout out.
Yeah, first of all, huge thanks to you guys at RRTV for the awesome broadcast as always. To all the drivers in the two cars, you guys are doing a fantastic job. And as always, to David from RAC for their ongoing and awesome commitment to the team. It's great to see real life companies such as RAC, K-Centric and Unmetered Servers getting behind the smaller teams, and giving us a bit of a hand with the running costs with hosted servers and paints and all that stuff. So huge thanks to those guys, cannot thank them enough. As you said, they've been with the team since we formed, and I plan on keeping them here as long as they humanly want. So yeah, thanks again guys.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like All Star Motorsports is having a far better run than they did last time, because I recall last meeting, I think they were quite despondent, weren't they? So it's good to see these guys having a good run there today.
Yeah, they were pretty well down and out. I mean, we know Bathurst was a real car killer there last round, and there was a lot of complaints from the drivers. But I think at the end of the day, I think everyone knew that Bathurst was a car killer, and if something was going to happen, generally it was going to happen, and more than one vehicle is going to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, the wash-up of Bathurst. Quite a few people were saying there was, a huge amount of safety cars and this and that, but when you actually look and compare the statistics to some of the real-life Bathursts there, the guys didn't do that bad a job, really. As far as safety cars go, I think the worst in real life they had was about 19 safety cars, and I think when the guys raced there, they had about 24 safety cars or thereabouts. So, it's just one of those races that killed a lot of cars, and we know Bathurst does that. It bites.
Oh yeah, Bathurst is a mean track. You can ask any of the V8 supercars. I mean, just ask Chaz Mostert. It bit him, and it bit him hard. Just got unsighted, hit a wall, and killed his car. But in saying that, you've got what, four different classes, 4 different makes of cars, all different level skilled drivers, and if something's going to happen, and unfortunately if it happens in front of a lead car or back marker, something's going to happen, and you're going to take out a few guys. So, and unfortunately now, you've got only 2 quick repairs, which is something that everyone knew about. If you weren't going to be gentle on the equipment, you're going to lose.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's what a lot of drivers found out, how tough Bathurst is. But I think we said it at the day, Bathurst is tough. It doesn't apologise for being tough, and that's what brings so many drivers back every year to try to win the 6 hour and the 12 hour there. Because if you win that, that's oh man, that was close. The redback car just came out of the pits straight in front of the second position Carnet TDR entry, and I thought they were about to have a collision, but I think the Carnet guy had to lift a little bit to avoid that.
I'll have to go back and watch that one. Missed that one. I was still on Ratcore car, and yeah, you're right. Just come out. It was close, but nothing wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's the 118. David Arnold's in that car, so they're running in 5th at the moment. So no doubt they've decided they didn't want to let the 137 past, possibly because that would have put them down a further lap. So I think they're fighting to stay only 1 lap down at this stage of the race after taking service.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. I believe some of these cars actually aren't on the same pitch strategy as well, Bernie. Some guys are a little bit out of sync, so it's interesting, and we're not going to know what's going to go on until probably the last half hour of this race.
Yeah, well, that's right. It generally all comes together, doesn't it, when we get to the last hour or 2 of the race, and it's at the moment we've got that redback car just staying ahead of the 137, and they fighting there at the moment. But the leader is the 188, Joe Birkin. He's just coming out of the pits now, so he's taken service. The redback car we know is taken service, but the 137 has not taken service at this stage.
Yeah, so I'm not sure when they're due. I think Tim Sweck's in there at the moment. I believe he'll do a couple of stints here. He's only just dropped in as I see a car coming out of the pit lane now to join in with this group, and it's going to be tight again, Bernie, and yes, there it is. And TDR there just getting caught up. Will they take this position? Couple tyres on that other car, and he gets that one and caught a little bit walk and a little bit behind that redback.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dangerous re-entry there, isn't it? Because the guys come out of the pits and it's pretty much unsighted because they can't really see very well behind them, I guess, with the little mirrors they've got, unless they're using the big mirror across the top. But at the moment, it takes almost a lap by the time the HPD comes in the pit lane, takes its service and leaves. It's just about one lap that a HPD does around here.
Yeah, and that I can actually tell you, Bernie, that was actually Joe Burkett in the TTL car, so that was actually for position, so good driving there at the end of it.
And as we see them coming down here 3 wide down the back straight now, we've got the TDR car going on the inside. He does that. Joe Burkett's also going through, and the 118 HPD steps aside now and lets those guys through, but it was getting a bit chancy there for a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely on it. They're not backing off here, and at the moment this is for 1-2, so poor old 118 has gone down another lap, but valiantly tried to stay up as that GT3 car's out the road, but we've got the car 300 is a little bit held up here. They're gonna, oh, that was close.
Yeah, because these guys are fighting now, and we do know the TD racing car, that still has to take service yet, so no doubt while it can stay in front of these guys, it can just make sure, well, maybe they've taken service, I'm not sure. I've got them down as 1 pit stop, but Joe Burkett down as 2.
Yeah, like I said, I think they're on a little bit different strategy at the moment, so when they pit I'm not sure, so they could go for another few more laps yet, Bernie, to keep them in that situation, so it's actually quite interesting what's going on here at the moment.
It certainly is, because I tell you what, Timothy Schweck's definitely got the pace in that car net entry as we see it pulling away, and I guess the difference is possibly they're on a very light fuel load compared to a full tank that Joe's got at the moment, but they're looking quite racy out there.
Yeah, well, that could be it, you know, like maybe Tim's halfway through a stint here at the moment and on a lighter fuel load compared to Joe at the moment, so, and we know that Joe and David at the moment are basically got a full tank, so it's going to be a slightly little bit slower than probably.
Yeah, we can see the GT3 cars, there's a lot of cars taking service at the moment, folks, and it's that time. We've got 5 hours and 17 minutes of this race left, and I'll give you a bit of an update of your top 5 in Class A. So Timothy Schweck in the car net entry is leading at the moment. They're out of sync on pit strategy. The 188 is in second and on the lead lap. Then we have the 126, that is Evolution Racing Australia, in third position. That's the last car on the lead lap. 1 lap down is the 118 of Redback Racing with David Arnold driving that car at this moment, and rounding out your top 5 is the 100 Dayco Motorsports entry, and Rhys Gardner's just had that car serviced and is rejoined cleanly. Looking down to Class B, that's been led by Evolution Racing Australia, the 226, Marcelo Rivera, doing a great job out there. Second in Class B is the 200 Synergy Sim Racing. We saw they were pretty close behind earlier on, but they've dropped back a bit now in that Boost Juice entry. Then third position is Anthony Manzarella in the sister Evolution Racing Australia car. They are 1 lap down from the leader of that class. 2 laps down, and in fourth is the 266 Blackadder Motorsport with Brendan Gurusaya, or I don't know, Brendan G we'll call him. And he is, looks like 2 laps down. Fourth in class, the 217 All Stars Motorsports, Troy Burgess at the moment in the behind the wheel of that car, and then behind them in 5th is the 218 All Stars Motorsports, with Brent Tucker taken to the wheel of that car, and we're just speaking to him not so long ago, so he's jumped out of the comm box and straight into the car by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks that way, so he's getting his stint out the road.
Yeah, they're looking at Class C. Well, Frieda is still leading that class. These guys, must be said, are looking pretty unbeatable. I think they've pretty much led this race from the start in this class, and they're really taking a blowtorch to the competition. They are now 2 laps up on their closest rival, that is the 397 ANZ Motorsports, and Shane Van Gisbergen is currently driving that car and doing his stint, and Justin Ruggier jumped out of that car, so these guys are looking good for a podium. And then 3rd in Class C is the 367 Blackadder Motorsport with John Barry driving that car. 4th is the 351, and all these guys are 2 laps down from the leader, but all on the same lap, if that makes sense. That's Oceanic Sim Racing with Matt Nethercote driving, and he's been putting in some big miles in that car today. And then rounding out your top 5 is the 399 Blackadder, or not Blackadder, Delta Sim Sport, sorry, with Mitchell Bennett there. It looks like we've got a few guys waiting for an interview.
Yeah, we're getting a few up here now. It's getting that way again. That time of the day, people have been watching and want to come up and have a chat.
Yeah, it's always great having the guys. We did have Alex Pole down there for an interview, but unfortunately he's left the green room. He's probably gone to do some sort of team sort of work. But if you're watching, Alex, we apologise for not getting you up here when we could. But I tell you what, it's the traffic out there as we see the Daco car going past the Swift entry, and also G&T Racing passing the Tryhard. So there's still pretty heavy traffic going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's you know, getting all these different cars and different speeds. You'll catch them in all different areas, and sometimes it gets really hairy. You're getting into this hairpin, and you see them getting in there, and they're nearly 3 wide, which gets quite hair-raising, even sitting here watching.
Yeah, there's a few times I've sort of held my breath when I see the cars either coming on track or passing, or just the difference between collecting the guys and as we see the G&T Racing car go off circuit, he's rejoined, but he's throwing a lot of dust up, and Troy Burgess goes past him, so Trent's going to have to make that move again to pass him, which no doubt he'll do as they enter the back straight here. Okay, yeah. So I guess eeny, meeny, miny, mo, who do we bring up?
Well, I think you could bring up James. I know we've talked to him before, but he's been down there for a while, so you can have a quick chat with him if you like.
Yeah, alright, I'll bring him up. Hi James, welcome to the Combox, and how's the race progressing for you since we spoke to you last?
Oh, it's still going along pretty good, although we've picked up a little bit of damage from a HPD who decided he didn't want to turn into a corner and just went straight ahead and T-boned us. Wasn't a great feeling, but it hasn't really damaged the car pace too much, so I'm still plugging along. Yeah,
it's looking pretty strong. Your car's looking really strong, actually. It's from what we've calculated here, you're 2 laps up on your closest rival, which is the 397.
I think it's only about a lap and a half. They would have been right with us, ding-dong battling, but they made a bit of an error in one of the full course cautions and pitted while it was closed, so they got a 1 lap penalty.
Okay. Yeah, we saw that come up earlier today, so also you might be able to clear up for us. From what I can tell from my telemetry here, it appears you guys have pretty much led this class since the start of the race. Is that correct?
Yeah, other than probably about 10 laps where the 397 got ahead after they stopped on the closed pits.
Yeah, that's a heck of an achievement, considering how long we've been racing for now. We've got 5 hours 10 minutes to go, so we've been going for 6 hours 50 minutes as one of the Boost Juice HPDs around at the hairpin there. So what's the plans for Frida as this race progresses? How many? Well, are you going to get back in the car? That's the question, I guess.
Yeah, about 10 laps I'll be getting back in the car. I'll do stints, and then Michael Fabian's going to get in for 2 stints, and then I'll get back in to bring it home.
Fantastic. And the tyres, as always, holding up on the BMW all right? And apart from that shunt, everything else going okay?
Yeah, this is our second stint on this set of tyres.
Excellent. Well, before we let you go, James, we'll just get you to give a shout out to all the cow lovers out there. I'm sure there's a few. This car's getting a bit of a following.
I'll just say moo to all the cow followers.
Moo. Yeah, no worries. All right, mate. Well, enjoy your next stint, and by all means, come up later on and let us know how things are progressing in that car.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So yeah, 10 laps. I didn't want to hold him up too long, Adrian, considering he's going to have to turn his mind to driving very shortly.
Yeah, that's right. Great driver, and he got plenty of speed in that car, and doing a double stint on tyres, that's phenomenal. We don't really hear about that. Guys generally aren't pushing it, but I'll tell you what, it saves 16 odd seconds in a pit stop. So, and if you got the right car balance, saving yourself 16 seconds on track, and if you're not going to lose that much time on track for having them on there, go for it. And anyway, they're 2 laps in front, so you can gamble on that, and it'd be good testing grounds for coming up in the pro.
Yeah, it definitely is a good testing ground for them for that pro Blanc Pain series that'll be coming up next week, I think it is, and that will be covered on iRacing Live, so if the viewers are interested in watching that, definitely check that schedule. But it's interesting though, when I was looking at telemetry saying, the car was roughly 2 laps down, the 397, but James knew exactly where that car was, and just goes to show they are keeping a very close eye on their competitors still.
Yeah, well, just goes to show how committed they are and how professional they're being. I mean, they've got to be, and that's the whole point in it, especially in the Blank Plane series. They're going to have to be on top of the game. They're going to have to be on top of the competitors that they're racing with, and understanding what's around them, so that if they need to make a call, they can make it instantly and get through it and gain the benefits from whatever call they.
Yeah, well, that's right. Because that's going to have the best teams around the world competing there, and I know we've got about 5 Aussie teams in there, which is fantastic. But those guys had to work hard to get there. I know the Direct Clutch boys, they were working pretty much focused purely on getting their pro licenses up to qualify for that series.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Geez, there's a HPD, the Daco Reese Gardner goes out wide and missed his teammate down there waiting for a interview. So yeah, no, those guys were pushing it, and I'm sure the whole 5 teams, and I think a lot of guys are out there trying to push in there to get their pro license to race in that, because it is worth money. It's actually a money involvement in that as well if you actually walk away with the champion.
Yeah, I think it's about 10 grand, isn't it, they're racing for? That's what the usual prize money is at the pro level.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain of the money value, but yeah, it's definitely a lot up for grabs, so, and worthwhile for some of these guys, 10 grand, you work it out depending on how many guys you got racing for you. That could be a new computer, new steering wheel, new brake set, another extra monitor or something like that, so it's definitely worthwhile for those guys.
Oh, it surely is, and the biggest prize money purse in sim racing that I know of anyway. But we should bring up a few more. I'm going to let you have a chat. Did you want to pick the person, or should I just drag up someone?
No, we'll bring up Kurt. He was racing there in the car 100, and he was the unfortunate bloke with the technical issue. Hey Kurt, welcome to the RRTV commentary booth. A bit of hard luck for you today. Just a little bit of internet connection drop.
Yeah, we were having I was having quite a good race in my stint. I got spun under a restart, and yeah, I don't know what was happening to TTL, but they looked like they were having dramas, and yeah, we had a bit of a lead, and I was thinking the race was going good, and yeah, it wasn't internet dramas. My router actually stopped working completely, so that it was a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, that's no good when that happens, especially when you're doing such a good job. It seems like you guys are struggling for luck at the moment. You know, you've got the pace in the car, that's for sure. You guys can definitely keep that car up near the pointy end, and just some things just seem to be struggling. Are you going to be able to get back in there and do your minimum laps, or have you got them up? Or
I've done the minimum laps, but I had my old router, so I've done a change, and yeah, I should be able to come back and drive again. I'm just making sure that there's no further issues. So, but yeah, it's our cars had really good race today, and we haven't made any, haven't made too many driver errors ourselves. So we've been right in it. That's where we've fallen down in the last few races, is making errors ourselves. So. But yeah, it looks like the technical gremlins are still chasing us around, so hopefully that's the last of today's issues.
Yeah, it's been quite an interesting race, hasn't it? You know, only two safety cars periods throughout the race in the what have we been running for 7 hours now, so quite interesting that we've ran this long without too many safety cars.
Yeah. Definitely the first 4 hours where we had no safety cars, that was very interesting, and then it seemed like a curse with me. I got in and both of my stints have had the safety cars, so not that I mind, but yeah, it bunches everyone back up again and you have to fight through all the traffic, so.
Yeah, it's been interesting too. I noticed with the safety car it's now a little bit longer, been a little bit drawn out, but obviously to try and help with this issue, that try and help admin out, so not sure if it's help for them or not, so maybe a bit more work, but seems a little bit longer and probably save it a little bit more fuel for you.
Yeah, it gives us a bit more of a break as well, so I didn't mind it when I was driving. The only problem with the HPD is our car is quite sketchy on cold tyres. Like when we first drive out of the pits, we've got to be a bit careful, and yeah, on the safety car restarts, the thing just wants to loop for the first half a lap, so we've got to be very, very careful. So hopefully we won't have too many pace cars.
Yeah, well, the pace cars, the longer pace cars, your tyres will actually cool down a lot, wouldn't they? So
yeah,
not keeping the heat in those tyres.
You know, that's it. We're hoping we can get another pace car now to see if we can get ourselves back on the lead lap that we lost due to my internet drama. So, because we've definitely got the pace to be racing those guys up the front. So.
Yeah, well, you were having a good battle there with TD Racing and the guys up the front. You actually, I'm just checking to see if I can see. I think you guys actually did lead a lap there, a couple of them. Actually, 25 laps you've actually led. So. We know that you've got the pace there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that TTL must have been having an issue, because they pitted randomly and changed drivers when I know that they had plenty of fueling, because they'd only just recently pitted, and they were 6 seconds in front, and I chased them down and got a bit of a lead, and the safety car come out, and yeah, but I was a bit confused by that. They seemed to be a bit slower in the end of the straight, but. Well, whatever their issue is, it seems to have rectified itself. So
yeah, it's yeah, they seem to be going strong, and they're back up the front with Joe driving that car. Got a turn around there. Reese just got turned around there by the look of that. That's not good for the.
No, that's not very good.
Alright mate, we might let you go and see if you get that sorted, but before we do, you want to put a quick shout out there to your...
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Echo, GT Omega, GTI, Newlex, Powerbond, and Fusion Sim Racing and the guys there. So, and yeah, shout out to you guys from this broadcast on. So, thank you.
Yeah, thanks Kurt. Let's hope you do, your router holds out on you for the rest of the race, and just keep an eye on you guys there. That was a bit interesting, that one. So, yeah, just enjoy your race, and we'll catch up.
Yeah, sure, thank you. Hopefully I can drive again today.
Tell you what, Adrian, that save though by Reece Gardner was fantastic. You could actually see how he had to balance that throttle just to keep that car off the wall and looping. So fantastic recovery by Reece after that tag.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. It's not something that we like having on the screen while we're interviewing, that's for sure. You don't want to see the guys' cars getting turned around, and you definitely don't want to hold them up any longer while they're up here, just to go and get that sorted, because that's something that you want to know what's going on.
Yeah, he's caught the Blackadder car back up again in the same spot, but this time he's decided he's taken the inside, which is probably the better form of valour there. And I'll tell you what, I think the problem is the Corvette, as he nearly loses it again coming back out of there. I think the problem is the HPD is very, very slow in that part of the circuit, and that's when the Corvettes are actually making gains on it.
Just wonder if it may be because of the build of the HPD. Of course, it's just a stiff board underneath that car, and you know, you've got to hit it in the right line, and you've got to slow it down a bit more to get it through there comfortably. And the Corvette, obviously, you can set it up differently, and it'll ride those bumps a lot better. As there's a badly damaged HPD.
Big accident.
Oh, and another.
This will bring out the yellow. We've got a car stopped, and that's caused a huge accident down here at the hairpin.
A trial car 169.
Just bringing up the replay here to find out. As we're looking here, there's a simulated car absolutely wrecked that's parked on the side of the road. The 111 has got into the back of the Blackadder BMW, and that car, the 367, is in big trouble from that hit. So yeah, safety car for that, Adrian.
Yeah, but I think you'll see that 169 might have been because of that first call for the safety car. I think being up there in that situation, and with Trent Thomas here, he sort of had to jink to the left there because that Blackadder Motorsports car moved across on him, and then he's gone in the grass and lost control. And unfortunately, you know, the Blackadder car's still there, and collected that car pretty bad, and those guys were hit. So Trent's bad luck there at the moment is still going in this series.
Yeah, both of those cars are pretty heavily, and that's going to change a lot of things, and it's quite interesting, isn't it? If you look down in our green room now, with that safety car coming out, everyone apart from one is all bailed out that door, and we're all making their ways back down to the pits to work out strategies and whatnot.
Yeah, which is fair enough. You know, it's one of those things where it makes it interesting. These guys have got to get out of there, get things sorted. They might even do a driver change. They might say, oh, can we pit here and do this? But this is good for us, actually, Bernie. We'll actually see what's going on with these safety car periods, and the viewers can see how long this will last.
Yeah, well, it's the first one that we've actually had the privilege of covering this today. I guess you could say it's a privilege, and we'll just see how all this plays out. But I'll tell you what, that saw that unfold live, and those cars went in pretty hard into that fence.
Yeah, I believe the 169 car, and I couldn't see what happened, but I believe he's hit the wall coming out of one of the tight corners there. I think it might be turn 3, I think it is, Bernie, 3 or 4, and he's looped it and he's hit the wall, and he's got no nose cone on the front of that HPD, which is ABR Simulator 2, and he's tried to drive it back, but obviously it's caused that much damage. He's ended up stopping there at the next hairpin, and I believe that's what the safety car was going to be for, is generally him, and then obviously those two cars come together after.
Yeah, we've got the 367 on the screen at the moment. He's missing the whole front end. This is when you want to use the pits to, or your fast repair. But as you were saying earlier, Adrian, this is when race control will be telling you when the pits are actually open and when they're closed.
Yeah, this is at the moment. I believe it'll be telling admin will be saying, right guys, the pit lane is closed. You cannot enter the pits, which they know that, and then they'll just wait until they get everything sorted, and we'll actually start seeing guys go around the safety.
Yeah, that's right, and that's race control waving those guys by. The interesting thing will be now to see if the 100 actually gets waved through, because they wanted that safety car, didn't they, and they're 1 lap down, so we'll see what happens with those guys. Pits are still closed as we see the field going through. We'll keep an eye.
Yeah, I think they're trying to.
You can go.
Yeah, I think it depends on where they are. At the moment, it looks like the safety car's picked up the leader, so I'm not sure at the moment who's going to be able to get past here exactly. So I'm thinking any guy that is in front of their respective class leader will actually get the wavering.
Okay, so it's going to help the slower classes more than anyone, because it always picks up the Class A leader, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, sometimes we've seen previously, like, you'll just pick up whatever car at the time, and at the moment it's actually picked up the Class A leader. You can see now that if you stay with the safety car, we've already got 2 GT3s getting the wave around, so and that gives them that lap back, so they've got their lap back just being overtaken by the class leader at the moment.
And what this probably does also is it's allowing the slower class cars, as we see one of the Class B and another Class C go through. What this is really doing is it's allowing all the slower cars in between all the Class A cars. It sort of cleanses the field in a way, doesn't it? And allows all the Class A cars to sort of group up in their class.
Yeah, it does. I've noticed, I have seen the restarts that you generally just see the HPDs, and you might see probably 5 or 6 of them all there. So, and then you'll see the Class B leader not far behind. So it definitely does cleanse the field a little bit, helps out in that respect. And we've not seen a safety car after a safety car, which is something that we used to see a lot in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, well, it's because it shuffled the pack up, didn't it? It was all hell broke loose normally on the safety car. We just saw the Swift car go past the safety car, plus that other Blackadder, and they're going through. And I doubt that the 100's going to get waved through because they're a Class A car, but a lot of the slower cars are definitely getting a lap up here, as we can see the 340 and another Tryhard's car go through.
Yeah, it does cleanse the field, and like I said, it's sort of worked out where it hasn't been so hectic. It still gets hectic at the back, obviously, because you still got a mix of different cars when they don't do their pit stop, so you're still going to get some Class A's, and you're still going to get some GT3s and that in there as well. So it can get a little bit hectic at the back, but generally it's fairly clean.
And it looks like from the pit lane still closed, so I'm assuming what they do is, this is only me assuming folks, but I'm assuming they cleanse the field, and then once they've done that, they open the pits. But saying that the safety car lights are out, oh no, they come back on again now. They did go out, but race control's turned them back on. So I'm assuming then they, after they've reshuffled the field, then they allow the guys to pit.
Yeah, looks like my internet is working fantastically again, but yeah, no, they'll should be work really well for the guys, and unfortunately some miss out and some gain, but that's the problem with the safety car, Jen.
Oh yeah, it is, but to me it seems a lot more orderly than what we've seen. They just allowing iRacing to do it, so you know, it's a good innovation here by race control, and as we see the LMTI entry now get waved past. Don't hit the safety car. I don't think you can hit the safety car, can you?
No, you can't hit the safety car, you can drive through it. I think it's Joe in the car, he could actually drive through that safety car, but he just can't.
Yeah, so at the moment folks, your top 5 in Class A is Team TTL leading. Now, statisticians out there, we've covered 222 laps here at Sebring today. This car has led for 182 of those laps, so the only other cars that have led is the 137 Carnet Auctions entry that with Aaron Osborne behind the wheel, they've led 14. The Dayco entry, the number 100, which is a lap down, they've led a total of 25, and the only other car to have led a lap here today is the 126 Evolution Racing Australia. They have led 1 lap here today at Sebring. So looking at your top 5, Team TTL is in first position. Then we have the Carnet TDR, Aaron Osborne in the second. Then 1 lap down is the 118, which is the Redback Racing entry with David Arnold behind the wheel of that car. Then fourth, right behind him, is the Evolution Racing Australia entry that's got Riley Preston in that car. And then rounding out the top 5 and 1 lap down is Reece Gardner's car, the 100 Dayco Motorsports entry. So we've got only 2 cars at the moment on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that's because of the safety car situation, I believe, Bernie. Because we've only had 3 safety cars, I mean, the guys are just racing, and you know, Sam Sutton was just phenomenal in his first stint, and he was laying down lap times, crazy top lap times consistently all the way through, and just going past the field, blazing through the field. Yet then you get TDR racing, they were just taking their time, by their time, and got lucky and ended up being on the lead lap just because of the safety car situation, and have been pretty racy throughout. So they're quite quick as well, but they've been patiently racing away at it.
You can see it appears that pit road is still closed here. The way I gauge that is I'm expecting the 367 Blackadder Motorsport BMW to be pitting as soon as it can, because it doesn't have any front end on it at all. And I'd hate to think how much top end speed that car's going to lose when it hits a straight up in full race mode.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know that it can run quite well without the bonnet on there, but it depends on how much aero it's lost on the front of the car. I don't think the bonnet loses too much speed, but I think if they've lost a little bit of aero on the front of that car, which they would have done, obviously losing the bonnet, so yeah, they might lose a bit of top end speed, probably about 10 k's.
Yeah, well, safety car lights are out now, so I'm assuming we're going back racing, so I can only assume they decided they're going to continue on with this and not repair that car, but we know in the simulation that you just don't know what sort of stresses have been put on that engine with that impact, and it could be a bit of a dicey move for that car. They're currently running third in class, so that's if we look at Class C before we start, Friedel is leading that race at the moment. Scott Gray driving with them with the 397. Shane Van Gisbergen is in that car at the moment, and then we've got this car, the one that was involved in that incident, the 367, and they're currently 2 laps down, so I'm not sure what they've decided. No, the safety car lights have come back on, so they may still take service here.
Yeah, I believe they have. I think they're throwing that safety car there to go again, Bernie. This is what's been going on. They're getting the field sorted and they're getting happy with what's going on, and then they'll extend it again so guys can go and do their pit stop. And I believe if they do their pit stop, I think it goes green. So once you get out of the pits there, you've got to actually race up to the end of the line. So you've got a bit of work to do when you've done your pit stop. But you know, it's a free pit stop actually if you're under safety car now. So it's not too bad. I think admin's done the right thing here, and it's made the racing a little bit better, and you know where you are and whatnot.
Oh yeah, it's made it a lot more orderly and controlled, and I think probably a lot more realistic for this type of multi-class racing as well. And you know, I'm sure the guys think it's great out there, and it'd be interesting to see what the viewers think. If you've got an opinion on this new rule, folks, definitely put a comment in, but be nice in the comments, because if you're not, I'll have to boot you out of the channel. So yeah, pit lane is now opened, and we can see the G&T entries come in, and so has the Blackadder 367. No doubt they'll be using a fast repair on that 367.
Oh yeah, for sure. Looks like the 333's in as well, so the class leader in Class C has come in. Quite a few guys are coming in, so worst case scenario, depending on where you come out, you're not going to lose too many positions at all.
Yeah, well, that's right, and I guess this cleanses the field as well to a certain degree, doesn't it? Because they clean the top end of the field, get it happy, and then all these guys come in, and I guess where they come out is where they start the race, which is or restart the race.
Yeah, like it's quite a big lap around here, so the guys will line up behind these guys. It does cleanse the field to a point. Obviously you'll get the quick HPDs generally up there, but if someone doesn't take a pit stop there, you are going to get a few GT3s in there. But here at the moment you can see like there's at least 6 or 7 HPDs at the front of the line here, and they're going to have fairly clear run, and then you start seeing the GT3s. But it does make it easier because obviously the guys will get the green flag around the start finish line. It just makes it easier. You can go as soon as the flag goes green.
And I can confirm the 367 has used a fast repair, which we're expecting, and Robin Rosenfinch has jumped into that car now and to do their stint. Actually a car in the background spun. I can hear it, but I can't see it. But jumping up the front now, the lights are off, so we're going to be going green, and as you said, you know, the guys come out of the pits, they have to then race to get to the end of the line here.
Yeah, that was, I think it was Dave Oliver actually, Bernie. He's had a spin there for some reason, so maybe cold tyres, like we heard from Kurt, that the tyres are a little bit cold and you lose your pressure and can caused you some sort of grief. Oh no, it wasn't him. He just pulled up for some reason. That was weird.
What he is doing though is he's jumping through the field to find his rightful spot as he goes past another car. So I'm not sure what's happening here. I'm assuming he's slowed and all the traffic's gone past him, and his iRacing is probably telling him which car to line up behind.
Yeah, it looks like he's found his spot as my internet connection is playing up again. But we'll see how I go. Hopefully I can hang on in here. But yeah, no, he's found his spot, which is good because the other cars could get a penalty for passing him under yellow, which is not something that you wanted.
No, that's right, and that's why it's important for him to get there, as they will get a black flag. But here we go, folks, we are about to go green again. Team TTL will be leading the car in, safety cars in. We are now just waiting for the green light, and we're underway here at Sebring. And look at the gaggle of cars again. Guys right behind him, there are all racing for position as the Daco car has to check up. He nearly lost it there, but we've got at the moment Team TTL leading the way. Looking further down, Carnet TDR, they were in second position, and they still are in second position. Riley Preston though in the 126 Evolution Racing Australia, he's currently right up on the back of Team TTL, and if he can pass him, he will get this lap back. So this could be critical for this team here, Adrian, if you're still with me, and if they can get back on this lap and hold it, then we'll have 3 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, for sure, Benny, if you can get through there. I am still with you, only just. I've had to shut down a few things and I got booted out of the iRacing room, so I'm just going to go by you. But yeah, if TTL can get, if the guys can get through there and get that lap back, that's going to be a benefit for those guys.
Yeah, and they know it too, because they're absolutely pushing it. What we might do is, while this unfolds, we'll bring Brenton O'Brien up, and he can have a chat with us. Hi Brenton, welcome to RRTV Combox. You probably come up at a pretty good time because the 126 at the moment is looking pretty keen to get their lap back off the 188 at the moment.
Yeah, they got burnt. Thanks Bernie, good day to you and to Adrian. Yeah, they got burnt pretty bad with that last safety car, as did all of our ERA cars, apart from the 223 which was able to gain a lap. But yeah, the 126 is battling to get that lap back. Pretty confident that they will, with what they can do with it when they get there. Riley Preston's, we know what he can do behind the wheel, but Joe Burkett's certainly no slouch either.
Well, that's right, he's dropping back a little bit now, but he definitely had the blowtorch on the back of that 188 a lap ago, and yeah, no doubt Riley's pretty keen. But all up, how are you, what's your thoughts on the performance of ERA here today in Class A and Class B?
Never one to complain, Bernard, you know that. Third overall in the 126, we just spoke about that. They've done a really good job considering that their main driver, Ben Smith, hasn't been able to do much today. He has work commitments on a Sunday, and Ian Ford and Riley Preston have been battling away. A lot of help from Mark Pickett, going to give him a shout out. It was a very late call in. So, you know, those guys are doing a really solid job. They won't need to pit again for a while. Their car's full to the brim, so I'm not sure the TTL car in front of them can say that. So there's going to be gains made there. As for our C7 triage, or what do we want to call it? Threesome? Menage a trois? That's probably a bit off. As for our 3 C7s, that's probably a bit better English, isn't it? First, third, and 5th, I think, overall, 6th overall. The 223 had some issues with the screen froze, so they didn't have a collision. They actually, because the screen froze, they just parked on the side of the road, did the sensible thing, and requested a tow. Probably, to be fair, might have been burnt by the rules a little bit there, but no doubt that will be addressed later on. The 226 and the 228 going really, really strongly up the front, battling away with the 200, which from what I can see now actually might have just overtaken the boys. So yeah, that last safety car we were 40-45 seconds ahead of them, but that's what safety cars do. It works in your favour sometimes it doesn't. There's no point whinging about it, you just got to get on with it.
Yeah, and what's your thoughts about the way Race Control's doing the safety cars today? They've obviously brought in something new where they're waving cars through, cleansing the field and then opening the pits.
Yes, but it's cool. Well, I can talk on behalf of the 223. Now I know that they obeyed the letter of the law when it comes to the sorry, yeah, I know what they did. They obeyed the rules to the letter, and yet the iRacing rule gave them a black flag, and they weren't able to recover from that. That didn't get extinguished, that rule. So again, it's something we can talk about later on. I'm not going to be in any way critical to race comms because these guys are putting in their own time, putting in their own hours. And Scotty Stevens and Heath Brennan and the crew do a really good job. And I know they're busy, but they would imagine they're just getting inundated with questions. But a few of us race managers are asking questions and we're not getting answers. So yeah, frustrating to a point, but also understandable.
And we can see now your guy Riley Preston is right up on the tail here of Joe Burkett, and I guess it'll be interesting to see how long Team TTL continue to fight here, and if they're actually going to just step aside and let your car go. I probably know the answer, and that's probably going to be no.
Yeah, I can be fairly sure of that. TTL hanging on just to the one quick repair left that I know of. They might have already used to. I know our boys in the 126 have not used the quick repair at all. I know the 226 hasn't either. So, where we got 4.5 hours to go. Still a long way to go. And, that's the type of thing that later on the race could come into play.
Oh, definitely will. The other one that will come into play is the incident cap. And the guys that have used a lot of incidents earlier on.
I don't think there is an incident cap, Bernie. I think it's more of actually I'm confident there is not an incident cap. It comes down to if you take too many incidents, it's more of a penalty points at the end of it.
Okay, that's set at 75 at this stage. That's what I read in the forums today. Okay, so they don't get disqualified at 75.
No.
They just start losing points. Okay.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, for 75 incidents around here, that's quite a few for this track. And I know our 226 is on 39 incident points, of which some of those were a couple of clumsy HPD, shall we say. I'm not going to go too much more into that, but it's actually looking at Ryan Preston. He's going to be able to make that move, I would think, on that lead TTL car as they come up to the last corner. I'm not going to commentate, Bernie, sorry. Maybe not. But no, overall the team is happy where it is. Disappointed for the 223. These are our new guys with Zach and Riley Blythe doing a great job. They started last from pit lane, and with all that long running at the start, they were able to get themselves in the front of this in the B class. So, but they're fighting their way back. Sorry, kids are going off in the background. That safety car certainly helped them up. They gained a lap on that.
Yeah, we've got them 5th in class at the moment, which is a great effort there. As they just passed a car that was slowing, and let's hope this isn't another safety car. That was the Nutters Motorsports green car, I think, just slowing back there, but he's back up to speed again.
Yeah, and also we just had a lead change in the C7s as well, so our 226 with the plate copper at the wheels just taken the lead back from that car from the 200, but the 200's hung in there tough, hasn't it? They were a lap down before. The 3 ERA cars were all a lap ahead of them, but again, with the dramas the 223 had, not only did we lose the 223, but the other guys through safety car lost that lead lap as well. So SSR hung in there, and at the moment second in class, and they've got some good drivers to get them home to the finish for sure.
Oh, they definitely do. They're normally pretty strong runners there as someone locks it up again. But turning our attention to the Blanc Pain, that's coming up in the next week or so. So you guys all ready for that?
Yeah, not this Saturday night, Bernie. The Saturday night after, about midnight Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's all go, isn't it? 5 Australian teams amongst the best 40 teams in the world, which is fantastic. You obviously got the ERA team with our drivers. Not going to show our hand just yet as to what car they're driving. Pretty confident where we're at. TTLR, 2 mad power cars, and also direct clutch teams will all be running in that. So, you know, for all the Aussies, they've got to get behind these guys. And I know for a fact that our team, Evolution Racing Australia, we've got TD Racing on our side helping it. So Timmy Ballinger and the crew helping us out with setups on the car that we'll be running. So, yeah, just that little bit of extra Aussie help goes such a long way, and so appreciated.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that I'm going to be sitting up with probably half a case of beer cheering all you guys on that night, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how you Aussies can go in that race.
Well, first race is at Monza. It's a 3-hour enduro. Looking forward to seeing what the Aussies can do there, and a couple of cars look favoured at the moment. The BMW certainly looks like the favoured record of choice at the moment. Not far behind is the Mercedes, the McLaren, and the Audi just seem to be off a little bit, but that's just our early testing. Once we get decent setups, we'll be up and away. We'll know more. But yeah, at the same time, it's like I said, there's no drop rounds. It's 5 rounds. None of them can be dropped. The top 25 teams, in a nutshell, go through and re-qualify for the Pro Series next year. The bottom 15, the powers that be say good luck. Go back through Pro qualifying and see if you could make it that way. So, yeah, looking forward really very much to that, and put my ERA hat on, hoping that the boys do a good job, because they've earned it. They've worked really hard to try and get where they are, and they did drive probably what was the worst car in the field last year for the Pro qualifying, and still made it. So hopefully things will turn around for them, and they'll solidify themselves hopefully in the top 20.
Yeah, well, that's I'm definitely going to be cheering you guys on, as well as all the other Aussies. And you can see here Riley Preston is still turning up the wick here, trying to get through, and it looks like Joe's not going to let him through, so we'll see how that goes. But I guess before we let you go, you better give a shout out to all the sponsors here.
Well, I'm going to give a special shout. We've got a new sponsor on board, MPMS Racing Simulators. Ben and the boys, hopefully they're watching right now. We've had them on board for probably 6 to 10 days, and the level of support, not just within iRacing, but also external outside of the seat, has been incredible. To me, like, we've got Maverick Welding on board, and they've been always long-term servants of ours, and fantastic to have them. And we've had Demidov Innovations, Auto Loan Centre, but the bar has really been raised with MPS. Oh, hang on, there's dramas here with the lead car. So yeah, I'll let you call that, but I'll chuff off shortly. But for MPMS, they have gone above and beyond, and we look forward to having a long-term working relationship with Ben and the family. It looks like it's a fairly strong family-run operation there, and can't talk highly enough of them at the moment.
And we're just having a look at this replay at the moment, and then I'll get back to you in a minute, Brent. Just trying to work out what's going on here. So while we're looking at this replay, how do people find MPMS simulators?
I am so glad you asked that, Bernie. Just give me a second here, because they're based in Brisbane, and I'll get you their details to you. Just hang on 2 secs. They're in Musgrave Street in the West End, so I've got their phone number, 0401 349 626. Have a chat with them. They put on such a good show. They don't just do the sim racing thing, they do driver training, they do a lot of other things that people, especially in the southeast Queensland section, can get involved with. And this is a company that is spreading its wing, going international. Obviously, with our running of the Sim Racers Asia series last night, a really good debut. The MPMS livery coming 1st, 3rd and 6th last night, and it's a company to watch out for. If you're involved with this type of thing, these guys are above and beyond in our eyes.
Yeah, it sounds excellent. It's the first I've heard of a company offering driver training and all that, so that's absolutely brilliant. So if there's any of the viewers out there interested in getting their sim gear or getting training, check them out and doing this simulation.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, very good. But anyway, I'll let you guys get back to it. You could see last time when we had quite a few people lining up ready for an interview, but as soon as a safety car comes out, we all disappear, Burn, so I'm glad we had a chance to have a chat.
Yeah, and that incident, we had a look at the replay, that was actually Team TTL and the 126 coming together.
Yeah.
And, but they've rejoined in that battle, so both cars look uninjured, which is definitely good to see.
Looks like that the TTL may have chopped the nose of the 126 trying to get around that black outer car. I'm thinking it's a racing incident, but it's not for me to say. But hopefully the umpires will say play on and they'll get on with it.
Yeah, which they're doing now. Anyway, Brenton, thanks for coming up, and it's always a pleasure talking to you, mate. And
good on you, Bertie.
The TTL car's just gone in the pits, so you guys have got your lap back.
Probably a scheduled stop for them, I would think. But yeah, good job to you guys too, Redback Racing TV, yourself and Adrian. Always do a really good job, and I know there's quite a few people interested in watching, as there were last night, and you guys continue to do a great job.
Yeah, we're just about to go to have our tea break in the next 15 minutes, but anyway. Alright mate, let's get back to it.
Good on you guys.
So I tell you what, Adrian, that was hold your breath moment then when the Class A leader came together with the 126.
Yeah, it's looks like they've sustained a lot of damage to the rear of that car, and it looks like now that the Sweck boys are up into first place, and the poor old guys there have got to still work away. They've got to get around the Sweck boys, so a little bit of work there to be done for TTL.
Yeah, you always have that question, don't you? You know, you're leading by a lap. How hard do you fight to keep that position? And you know, it was a lapped car that they were trying to get around when they tripped over each other, but looks like TTL might have a bit of work to do there. But it's a CarNet Auctions entry. 137 takes the lead in Class A. TTL is still in second though, as they've exited the pits. And then we have the 100 Dayco Motorsport entry in third position, so they're doing really well.
Yeah, they certainly are, and we're going to have to wing it for a little bit longer here, Bernie. We're still having issues with iRacing for some reason. It's really, the quality's really gone out of it at the moment. Suffering that.
Yeah, well, you'll have to name and shame your service provider if this keeps up. I definitely will shame them. So, you know, because it's affecting the broadcast for you up there in Queensland, which is quite unfortunate. Fourth at the moment in Class A is the Redback Racing 118. So these guys, looks like they're back on the lead lap and only just because of that pit stop. So that'll cleanse. And then fifth in Class A is Riley Preston in the 126. So all those guys have got their lap back. So if the safety car comes out now, they'll all be laughing.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, and I probably will name and shame. I mean, the only reason why I haven't yet is because I still love my V8s, and I watch that probably as much as I can, and my NASCAR, so I didn't mention a name at all, but obviously you can guess who that.
Yeah, it sounds like the way you're telling it is a bit, you're being a bit of a fox, let's say.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't actually recommend them at the moment, that's for sure, because this has been an ongoing thing ever since I've been with them, so I'm not really happy. And previous joining them, I've never had an issue, obviously. We've always had a good broadcast, and I've never had to do what I'm doing here today. I'm trying to cut down everything I can, but it's only the thing I'm having issue with is iRacing, so the package data is not obviously getting through to me properly, so that's getting a little bit annoying for me at the moment.
Looks like I might be having some sort of connection issues as well, because the broadcast appears to be stuttering again, but this time it's stuttering pretty bad, so maybe my computer's starting to tell us it's almost time for a break. Let's have a look at Class B. We haven't seen much of these guys in the last couple of hours, but that's being led by Evolution Racing Australia, and that's a 226 with Blake Coppo behind the wheel of that car in second spot, and the comeback drive for these guys is Synergy Sim Racing in the Boost Juice entry. So they were a lap down, and they've managed to get back on the lead lap for their class. And then we've got the 228 with Jake Blackhall driving the ERA car there at the moment, followed by Blackadder Motorsport in fourth, the 266, Brandon Garacia, however you pronounce it. Brandon G is in that car, and then rounding up our top 5 in Class B is the 223 Evolution Racing Australia with Riley Blythe behind the wheel of that car. So ERA is definitely very strong in Class B at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame there. We did cover off on that 233 having those issues, or 223 actually having those issues, and to be up in 5th position at the moment, it's not a bad effort for those guys at the moment. I hope they've got one more driver though there, Bernie, because I'm pretty certain you've got to have a minimum of 3 drivers today. So if they don't get a third driver in there, they may miss out on whatever points they gain from.
Yeah, well, I think they've got to get another driver in, but while we were talking these guys up, they did spin at the chicane and they got hit by a HPD, which has caused quite a bit of damage to the front left of that car. So let's hope it hasn't cost them too much, but it's definitely looking very second-hand, let's say.
Yeah, it's not good, and I've got back on here at the moment. We'll see how long I last, which is not always the best thing. And yeah, I can see here it's the simulated 2 car. So this car's in the wars in the last few laps here, Bernie. So they're struggling here at the last few.
Yeah, the wheels are sort of falling off their cart a little bit, pardon the pun, as during this session anyway, that's for sure.
Oh, we've got another car around here. It's Craig. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So it's Craig for Tryhards Racing HPD number 131. So a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, and it could be. We've got another rough also on the infield, and it's slowing. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a safety car here very shortly. Just can't get the number of that car, but it was well and truly on the infield there, and possibly it may not bring the safety car out if they park it in a safe spot where the crew can actually pull that car behind the wall. Otherwise it will possibly bring out a safety car. But while we're waiting to see what happens there, let's look at Class C. That's being led by the 333. These guys are pretty much led, apart from 10 laps of the race, pretty much all of the race for their class. And James Stevenson is behind the wheel of that car at the moment. They're 1 lap up, and that's on the 397, which Shane Van Gisbergen is still driving that car and trying to get that car back onto the lead lap. Then in 3rd position is the 351 Oceanic Sim Racing with Matt Nethercote behind the wheel. 4th in class is the 399 Delta Sim Sport. Alex Pole is driving that car at the moment. It's great to see these guys having a good run in the top 5. They're a relatively new team, especially to this series, so they're doing really well. And then 5th in class is the number 300 Pagny and IRFF Racing, and Brett Garidis is behind the wheels of that car. And we are under safety car now, and that's because of that rough that's parked on the infield in there.
Yeah, Bernie, you called that one. It looks like he's blown the engine up, so he's hit the wall at some stage and looking very second-hand at the moment. So that car's done for the day, and I'm not sure if they'll have a quick repair or not, but it must have had some damage there and it eventually blew it up. So whether it's a change gear or just overheated. So, which does happen through iRacing. Eventually, these things will explode.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you've got any panel damage, you just don't know what sort of engine damage you've got, or anything to the cooling system, that sort of thing. And I'm just trying to get which car that is, so bear with me, folks.
340.
340, is it?
Yes, that's it. And it's blown its engine as it's come out of one of the corners.
Yeah, so that's Racing. We haven't seen much of them, and Frank Rosenbauer is behind the wheel of that car. It has been towed back to the pits now, but we are under safety car with 6 minutes to go until it's our tea time. Not that I'm thinking dinner or anything.
Oh no, it's not, and why would you? So yeah, it'll be interesting now looking at these HPDs. We've got TD Racing there at the front, so they've got control. So it's going to be interesting because that 333 car is the lead car for Class C. So they might let them through because they're in front of the Class B car. So they might actually get through this. I don't know. I don't know how Race Control is doing this, and we'll probably find out probably later on this evening, and we'll ask the hard questions on Scott today.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it also is going to bring back quite a few cars back onto the lead lap in Class A. So if we look at the cars that are going to benefit from this, it's Dayco Motorsports, the 100. They should be able to close this up and be on the lead lap. So will the 118 with Redback Racing HPD, David Arnold driving that car, and the 126 should all be on the lead lap. So that's going to bring us back to 5 cars in Class A.
Well, that's what we're hoping, but we don't know what Race Control's going to do for sure. So we'll just keep an eye on it. But basically, I think what we're finding is that I believe Scott was saying that they were working on a system that they could try and find what they want to do. So obviously they've got to wait for a while until the field closes in and they know where everyone is, and then they start sending these cars around. So let's wait and see. And obviously we're going to hit Scott up and ask him these sort of questions because it's quite interesting. We know it is working, isn't it, Bernie? It's definitely helped with this racing.
Oh, it certainly has, and it's. I personally think it's a huge improvement. But I'm thinking, while we're going around with safety cars, did you want to have a bit of a chat with Colin Mason Hayes? He's in the 221 for Thunder Sim Racing, and it'd be good to get their thoughts on how they're going.
We'll bring him up quickly for a quick chat before this safety period is over. Hey Colin, welcome to the RRTV comms booth. How's the race progressing now for you guys? I believe Rory's in the car.
Hi Adrian, hi Bernie again. Yeah, we're going quite well. We're steadily moving up. Had a few issues along the way because of a few first-time problems, but we're going well.
Car looks good at the moment, so I say you may have used at least one quick repair so far, or has the car been fairly tidy all the way?
In actual fact, we've accidentally used 2. When I've been crew chief, I've been able to click it off, but some of both Rory and Daniel are new to endurance racing, and unfortunately someone's forgot to turn it off. Don't know who. So during one of my pit stops, when I didn't check it because someone else was, I hope, was doing it, didn't turn it off. So unfortunately, we've just had a bit of an issue, which we will address in the debrief later on.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a bit of shame using it when you don't need it. Obviously, with 4 hours to go,
yeah,
you want to try and at least have at least one left there.
Yeah, we haven't. In actual fact, we haven't had any big dings. We've had a couple people hit us from behind sometimes. HPD slammed me from behind at one point when I was trying to go into the pits. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but at the same time you have to slow down quite a bit to get into those pits because of the bumps there. So it might have been his line, and then he didn't see me to the end, and I almost got spun, but I was able to keep it straight.
Yeah, a little bit fortunate there. So, how you find the racing at the moment now that there's a lot of rubber on the track? How's the car handling for you?
Oh, great! Like the tyres through the whole session are really sticking. We normally run probably about in the 55s and the 56s in terms of time wise. I was still running 55s when the fuel was running out. So if I could get a clear lap without passing, or if I was only passing GT3s instead of getting passed, then I could get a good lap time in. But the problem is because of all the spread out of the cars, obviously it's a bit difficult to actually get that clean lap in these days.
Yeah, we can see there that you've got a wave around there, so Rory's getting the wave around and making his way through, so that gives you one lap back, so you can't retain the.
That helps us big time because we actually moved up to the 25th spot, and just recently we actually don't know how that happened, but it's very fortunate. We were stuck at 26 for about a good 2 to 3 hours. So these wave arounds have been helping us out a little bit to catch up to everyone else.
Yeah, no, it's good to see, and Bernie and I have been discussing, and it seems to be a good initiative here for race control. Put this in. It seems like the racing's a lot better and it's a lot cleaner off a
Oh yeah, definitely. Even when I was in the car and we had a safety car period, starting off, yes, I did have a couple of HPDs around me, but predominantly they were all in front of me. So I only had to wait for a couple of them to get past, because our goal was to finish the race and be as competitive as possible. We got to be able to finish to be competitive. So it's really good that we don't have a lot of the fast cars trying to pass us. Predominantly all the passing's been good, but there's been some impatientness. But all in all, you're gonna get that in racing.
Yeah, you certainly are. Before we let you go, you want to put a quick shout out there, and we'll let you go and get down with the team. And unless Bernie's got a couple of questions for you, obviously as well, but you might as well get a shout out there to you.
Well, I'll just shout out to the boys. Even though it is our first AEC, the car's not totally up to pace, but we'll get there eventually. First time, we're going to have a few issues, but we'll get there.
Yeah, you definitely will. And for anyone interested in joining your team, are you still recruiting at the moment, Colin? And if so, how do the guys get in touch with you?
Definitely still recruiting. There's no limit on numbers for our team. I haven't had the unfortunate responsibility to kick anyone out yet. But as long as you do responsible racing, iRacing, whether you're Class D or Class A, it does not matter. I'm here to help you learn. Here to help you achieve a goal that you want to achieve. Contact me via PM on iRacing. They're in the Road Racing Australia forum. I do have a post on there. There's my name. I'm always available. I'll get back to you ASAP.
Fantastic. So if there's any other guys out there interested, definitely look up Colin Mason Hayes on iRacing and go and have a go. Yeah,
I'll help you facilitate any way you want to go. We got people that want to do really well in the V8, so we're concentrating on that, as well as Formula Renault, AEC, SEK. We're racing everything, and I'm trying to get involved as much as possible.
Fantastic. Well, anyway, thanks once again for popping in, Colin, and best of luck with the rest of the race. We've got 4 hours and 6 minutes to go here till the end of tonight's race.
Unfortunately, we're down to 2 drivers. One of them's having a bit of connection issues. Hopefully, he's done enough laps that we can actually be qualified as a finisher.
Yeah, let's hope. But anyway, we'll catch you later,
Thank you very much. Yeah, see you later.
guess, Adrian, even if they're not classified as a finisher, the guys are getting miles under their belts, which is always a good thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, it's always good to get some miles under the belt. The Corvette is not a bad car to drive. It can bite you, especially on the first few laps, obviously with cold tyres, but it's generally not too bad car to drive, so good on it for putting in an effort there.
And I'm not sure if the viewers noticed that. In the background I noticed, because we're under yellow, some of the emergency vehicles like the ambulance and the fire brigade had their lights flashing as well, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, I did actually see that in the few previous safety cars there. All the emergency vehicles were having their lights on, which is really cool. So just a little added touch there, a little niche there for us to be a little bit excited.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get me excited, but anyway folks, we're coming up to the time when we need to go off air to organise our tea with our families and that sort of thing. But I guess the question is, do we wait for the pace car to go, or do we brake while we're under safety car? That's the question.
Depends on how if they're pitted or not, Bernie. That's more the question. I'm reloading my screen up as we speak because we're under safety car.
Yeah, I'm thinking, folks, while we're on the safety car, it might be a good time for us to end part 2 of this coverage here at Sebring. We will definitely be back though, and the start time for our part 3 broadcast will be at 7 PM tonight, and then we're going to be going to the end of this race, so we'll be broadcasting till roughly around about 9:30, 9:45 tonight. But anyway, Adrian, I think it's time for us to go and have our tea, and then we'll be back here in 2 hours' time, or just under 2 hours.
Yeah, sounds great.
Fantastic. Well, thanks once again, viewers, for tuning in to part 2 here of Sebring. I hope you're enjoying the ongoing RRTV coverage, and we look forward to your company once again this evening at 7 o'clock. Okay, good night. Good afternoon, I should say.